Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy Podcast presented to you by DSM Media as well as your host, myself, Slim. You can follow me on X at R2R30111. You can follow the other host here, Scotty Ja. As you can see by the title today, NBA trade deadline recap. I know we late, but hey, a lot been going on last week. The both of us kind of busy, but nonetheless, we're here. We're not too far away from the trade deadline, but we have a lot to dive into and discuss. But before we dive into any topics, my guy, how you feeling this fine Monday evening, my guy?
I'm feeling pretty good, my man. That Super Bowl was underwhelming to say the least. Wasn't very entertaining for my money, but
Absolutely not.
I look at it as like the true signal to really like mentally move on to the NBA season. I think as a whole, right?
Yeah.
As a whole community, we can all move on to the NBA season now that the NFL season is officially over. So I am excited for that. I'm hoping we can start growing the subscribers, start growing the followers on the channel as
Mhm.
we are now, in the middle, in the heat of the NBA season. We're approaching All-Star weekend. It's really it's starting to get real, I guess you could say. We're going to start seeing the playoff pictures really formulate. We're going to start to see some of those middling teams go up and some of them go down to the bottom. And we're going to start to see some of the great teams that are here to stay and that are going to keep playing some consistent ball going forward. So I'm excited to see what this season can turn into. It feels like one of the more open seasons. And I only say that, bro, because the Thunder are actually going through some issues right now for once. Like it doesn't seem like they ever do. But they do have some injury concerns right now. Obviously, SGA, I think he was going to be out through the All-Star break. And then J-Dub, I think he is set to come back after the All-Star break as well. But no, I'm feeling good, man. I'm obviously, you can tell I'm a little rant there. I'm excited for the season, bro. But
Yeah.
how you feeling on this fine Monday, brother?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, bro. I can't complain. Pretty good weekend. And to be fair, you're absolutely right about the Super Bowl. Definitely could have been more
More.
entertaining. I was actually joking with my coworkers today. I was like, the Cowboys had a better chance of being in there at that point, with all due respect to the Patriots. But
Yeah.
I feel like if the Cowboys was in there, it could have been more entertaining. But
No,
nonetheless,
you know who I thought about? I thought about your Buffalo Bills, brother. I thought about them Buffalo Bills losing to the Broncos and then the Broncos losing Bo Nix immediately. If the Bills would have just won that game, I think y'all would have beat the Patriots. And I think it would have been a much more entertaining Super Bowl. I think same thing if the Rams beat the Seahawks, it would have been a much more entertaining Super Bowl. Just more explosive offenses. Because
yeah.
that shit was for the birds, brother. But this is an NBA show. Luckily, we don't got to talk about that shit. So, uh,
For sure.
let's get into it, brother.
Let's
What
get
are we
into
starting
it.
with?
Let's kick it off, man. Let's talk about the beard. James Harden is on. Well, he's not on his way. He's in Cleveland now. They did a trade. James Harden for Darius Garland and a pick. I think a second round, maybe a first. But nonetheless, what is your initial thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, it was a 2026 second round pick. I honestly, bro, I love this for both sides. I think this fits
Right.
both sides very well. I think you look at the Clippers, I think they made it obvious at this trade deadline. We'll talk about some of the other moves they made, but they made it obvious what direction they're going in. I
Mhm.
think Kawhi on his way out of there this summer, I think that's very clear. He doesn't fit their timeline anymore at all. But they do get younger at the same time. They get Darius Garland back in return, who is still a very quality guard. He struggled with injuries the last couple seasons, but he's a guy that can produce. He's a natural playmaker. He can shoot the three ball. Obviously, he's got a bright future, and I think the Clippers gives him a little bit of room to grow even more now that he
Right.
gets away from Donovan Mitchell. That's not a detriment to Spida. Obviously, it's just Spida's that guy, and Darius Garland still maybe finding himself in his NBA career, trying to figure out maybe what his ceiling really can be. So I like it from the Clip side, and then on the Cavs side, I talked to you about this leading up to this trade, I believe, and you may have even sent the rumor to me, honestly. But I told you I love the idea of James Harden with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Takes a little bit of pressure off of Spida when it comes to ball handling, playmaking. James Harden's still one of the best, if not the best passers in the NBA. He made Ivica Zubac look incredible. Obviously, putting up 18 points and the 10 rebounds, but he made life easy for him. I think he's going to make life easy for especially Evan Mobley with the lob threat ability. And I think on the other side, their defensive capabilities are their strong suits. That helps James Harden out a lot. So I like it for both sides. If I had to pick a winner, I'd probably go with the Cavs just for the win now notion, putting him next to Donovan Mitchell. And I think they can really compete in the East and maybe even win it with that type of addition. But what do you think, brother?
I agree. I look for both sides. From the Cavs side of things, them getting a guy like James Harden, I think that was more so the right move to make you trying to win. Now, with all due respect to Darius Garland, I think that in a sense, James Harden is an upgrade. He has more playoff experience, more durable in a sense. And I think to your point, pairing him alongside Mobley and Allen, it could do wonders for those guys. I mean, look at how he had Zubac looking out there. My guy was having a career year. You know, not to take that away from Zubac, but having a guy like Harden kind of makes the game easier for you by a lot. So I love that addition. Also, when you look at the pairing of him and Spider in the backcourt, that can do wonders because now it allows Donovan Mitchell to strictly, focus on scoring a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that when he's laser locked in on putting the ball in the basket, he can be more dangerous than we know. So I like that, just the overall addition of that. Clipper side of things, I love it too. You bring in a guy like Darius Garland, relatively young, like 26, 27. He can help you compete now, and he could be one of those future cornerstones to help build your franchise, like once you decide to move on from Kawhi.
Yeah.
So I love that addition as well. They got rid of Zubac, so they brought in a guy like Matherin. I love that addition as well. He's pretty young, can help you compete, but also being one of those young pieces, that can help you build your team up in the future. So overall, I just love for both sides. I think that there wasn't, necessarily a loser in this deal. James Harden kind of came to a realization that, he has a better chance to win a championship out there in the East, and I would have to agree because the West is a dogfight every night. So, and then the Clipper side of things, they got younger in a sense. When you look at the teams around the league today, you need their youth, athleticism, around guys that's up in age. And you look at the Clippers, they have a lot of guys over the age of 28. So, it's saying that I think they made the right move. But nonetheless, I love the move for both sides for sure.
I got two questions to kind of piggyback off of that, and I'll start with the first one for you. Do you think the Clippers are still going to make the playoffs this season?
Yeah, I can see that. Depending on if Garland plays, though, because I know he hasn't played since maybe since he played you guys like a few weeks ago. So
good point.
It's been a minute.
I did see Kawhi went off last night. I think he dropped 41 in a W. I saw Julius Randle get into a little skirmish with Chris Dunn. That was fun. Julius Randle, bro, like you could say whatever we want about him as a hooper. I don't know if I'm squaring up with that dude. That dude. Yeah, he's a brick house, but
Chris Dunn always into somebody.
He's always that's his role, agitator. But the second question, nonetheless. So you think they can make the play? I do think they can. I just don't think they should, I guess. But I guess there's no incentive to them like tanking. Or did they get their first round pick back? Am I tripping on that?
No.
Okay. They got two firsts from the Pacers.
Yeah, they got Now that was
along with Mathurin.
That was smart on their end, though, to do something like that.
I was going to ask you, who do you think wins that trade?
Oh, definitely Clippers. I'm glad you asked me that because now I have to say this. You do know that the Clippers were actually playing some of their best basketball when Zubac was out the lineup, right?
Yeah.
So, with all due respect to Zubac, I think that they definitely made the right move. To your point, they brought in 2 additional picks and I think a second round. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You bring in a young talent in Matherin and Isaiah Jackson.
Jackson. He's a quality role player.
Yeah, he's quality. He knows his role. Not necessarily a 7-footer, but he can provide you athleticism, lob threat.
Yeah.
Get you a lot of offensive rebounds. So I think that the Clippers really won that trade. And at the end of the day, it's a business. They probably didn't necessarily want to trade Zubac, but they said that the Pacers was aggressively pursuing him. So they kind of got, when what they wanted in the end.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I asked that for that reason because I think the Clippers like clearly won this. I think Zubac will be a great fit when they get Hallie back in Indiana. They, like you said, they were going after him. They saw his fit with Hallie, and they think they got something there to replace Miles Turner. But I don't know, man. I still got a lot of belief in Benedict Mathurin. Like is it crazy? I don't know. Like in my head, I just look at Mathurin as like the more valuable player. Like I know that's not fair to Zubac because he's, you know, like you said, he was having career numbers with James Harden. I think he was averaging close to 20 points per game. He's averaging double-digit rebounds, of course. But in today's league, a wing, an athletic wing that can shoot it,
can score.
And then you throw 2 firsts on top of it. Like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah, like
I get why Indiana did the Mathurin part because maybe it just didn't align. It's a little bit of overlap with what else they have, but the 2 firsts on top of it just felt like a no-brainer for the Clippers, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, I mean, Mathurin is a free agent this summer, but I feel like he could be a good fit alongside Kawhi. I mean, he can give you 18,
Garland.
maybe 20. Yeah, Garland too. Yeah, they could be like two young players that you can build around. But I love it. But you did bring up some with Indiana and Zubac. I think it'd be a good fit. The only concern I do have is that, you know, Indiana is a fast-paced team, and, you know, Zubac not necessarily like a fast-paced center. He's more so like your typical old school, back to the basket type of big, not really known for running the transition. So maybe he can adjust. Maybe they adjust his plan. So it depends.
That is a great point, though. That is a great point because, like, my head just goes to Halliburton as a passer, his ability to make life easier for other guys, similar to James Harden. But to your point, they no pun intended, they play with a lot of pace. So we'll see how it ultimately fits in. So Clippers did pretty well from the 2 trades we discussed. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think they did pretty good overall, honestly. Yep.
What about this question? What do you think is going to happen to Giannis in the future?
Man, I think ultimately he ended up leaving. I just don't know where at this
what
point.
It looks like, right?
Yeah. I don't just see him win another title in Milwaukee. You know.
Yeah, it is. It's just interesting how that whole deadline played out, and you do wonder, like, did Milwaukee kind of screw themselves in a sense by not trading?
Yeah, I like the way you presented it, because that is a way you can look at it. Because I like when they came with that announcement that they was not going to trade on them more. I was like, so they basically played us in a sense, like they baited us. Like initially, they probably knew they was never going to move him. They just wanted to see what they could potentially get for him.
Hear the offers.
And so it's not necessarily the worst thing, because I told you this the last pod. Let's just say a team like OKC, they come up short this year. Let's just say second round. They got some pieces to go get Giannis. You talking about like a J-Dub, Isaiah Hardenstein, and draft capital. You can make it happen for sure. It's just an example, though. So
yeah, no, it's a great point. It's a great point. And you always wonder if they would, if they ever will be willing to kind of break up that core in a sense. But at the same time, you look at 2 of them, that would be Hartenstein and J-Dub. You get those 2 off the books for 1 player. It kind of lessens your books, I guess, in a sense, because both of those players are going to get big money. But no, that is something to keep an eye on. I agree with you, though. It's hard to predict where he's going to go, what type of interest is out there. I imagine them not moving him means that they didn't get the offers that they maybe thought they would get. I don't know. Maybe teams just didn't feel like, you know, moving that many pieces in the middle of the season. It would be a lot. But where you want to take us next, my man?
Hey, man, let's go to Golden State.
Oh,
let's go to the Bay, man. Hey, my Warriors made a trade. We traded Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield for Kristaps Porzingis. I'm gonna kick it off first. I think it's one of those moves, bro. It's like a low risk, high reward in a sense. You know, when you look at the players we gave up, wasn't really playing Kuminga. Buddy had just got back in the rotation when Jimmy went down. So essentially, we didn't just trade them for like heavy rotational pieces in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations like if Porzingis is healthy, he'll be a damn good fit for this team. Like he's a 7-footer. He give us size, rim protection, can space the floor. We can also run the offense through him if need be. So I think that was a good trade for both sides. Kaminga finally get to go somewhere where he can actually play. Same with Buddy. And I'm just glad that this Kaminga saga is over after all
Yeah.
these years. Just a year after year thing. But I'm just excited to see what Porzingis look like for this team. Based on what he said in the interviews, he seemed to be motivated, locked in. So, as a fan, that's what you love to hear. But man, what's your thoughts on going out there and trading for him?
Yeah, no, I thought it was I think it's a move that makes sense for both sides, kind of like you said. Um you get Kristaps Porzingis, you mentioned it. He's a 7-footer, he protects the rim, he can space the floor. He played on a Boston team that did win the championship, so he's at least been in that type of culture, that winning culture. He knows how to win. Yeah, I think it all makes sense. I think he fits what you guys are trying to do. I think it'll help while Jimmy's out. On the other side, you get Kaminga, who still has upside at the end of the day. I think it wasn't able to, necessarily be showcased in Golden State for whatever reasons. Maybe it was, not fitting Kerr's, play style or scheme or what he wants to do, or maybe it's just the team that was built around him. Whatever the case may be, it wasn't working out. So made sense. But I think Atlanta at the same time, they get another athletic wing out there in Atlanta that's who knows what he can really turn into when given the proper playing time. And then Buddy Hield, just I think it's like a nice throwing piece when you get an elite shooter, a pure shooter. So Buddy Hield, throwing piece. Warriors not going to miss him too much with some of the guards that you guys got out there. But at the same time, maybe it helps Atlanta. Maybe he can, squeeze into that rotation nonetheless. I do think face value for the trade, I think Atlanta wins just because Kaminga is young. But once again, this is going off of what maybe Kaminga, his upside or potential look from 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like seeing what I saw like a year and a half or 2 seasons ago, I'm still thinking maybe there's something in there with him. But I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, if you're a Warriors fan, I would be happy with this trade for sure. Something I was reading on ESPN, I thought was interesting. I saw a grade they gave to the Warriors, and they said a C- for this trade. And their reasoning was that, they felt that with Jimmy Butler going down, maybe the Warriors shouldn't, go after a center anymore. They should go after some wing depth, or maybe not move off of Kaminga to fill that role. But I know just based off talking to you, there wasn't much chance that Kaminga is going to come back into that rotation at the end of the day.
Right.
But are you happy with the position selection to upgrade, I guess, the center forward type of position rather than a wing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully they stop playing Draymond at the 5. I mean, I cannot voice how many times I have said this. Like those days are just over, bro. Small ball.
Yeah.
The league is getting big, bro. We need more size in the front court. So honestly, I'm just glad that they went out there and got somebody like Porzingis. Honestly, you just start to wonder if this could have happened sooner. But we was one of those teams that was in the trade talks with Giannis, bro. It was us, Minnesota, and Miami. But once they kind of said that they wasn't going to move, and we just pivoted to another player in Porzingis. You never know who's available until you hit these GMs up, and we hit them with a trade package, and they accepted it. So I like it. A lot of Warriors fans were saying that maybe we could have got AD or Jaren, but honestly,
maybe
I'd take Kristaps because you have more flexibility moving forward. He is a free agent this summer. So, with Jaren and AD, it's a lot of money he committed to those guys in the next few years. So
yeah, because you get out of this season, right? How many years does Draymond have left?
Next summer he's a free agent. I think he has like a player option or something like that.
True. So maybe you can get off of Draymond this offseason as well and really clear the books once, if you do decide to let KP walk. But yeah, I think it's a good swing now type of move. You still have Stephen Curry that you're trying to compete out there with. leading the way. You're still out there in the middle of the West competing for a playoff spot. You have to take some type of swing to stay competitive and keep fighting to move forward.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense, brother. But no, that's interesting. You said AD. Now AD, we could talk about that trade too, I guess. Jaren Jackson Jr., that is interesting. I know we're going to get to that one, but that would be interesting. But like you said, that would tie your money up for the upcoming seasons, I would imagine, with him wanting to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Watch the wheelchairs. Hey.
I thought it was our guy for a second, and then I read the name, Chicken Guy Hater. I don't think that's our guy. We had him before, our Wizards fan. He wouldn't be dissing Trae Young and AD.
Nah, he definitely wouldn't. I hit him up, bro, when they got AD, bro. He was excited about it.
Yeah, we got to get him back on. We got to get him back on to talk about it, yo. I want to hear his thoughts. Is AD going to play basketball the rest of this season? Because the Wizards say they think he's going to come back before the end of the year, bro.
Yeah, I seen it. But I was kind of confused. I thought they said he was going to have surgery, bro. I don't know.
I thought so, too. I thought when the trade broke, the plan was for him to not play. But I saw Trae Young put out a picture of him and AD. Like, he's excited. Like, welcome to DC.
I'll say this, bro. It's one of those scenarios. It's really like when both of those guys healthy, I mean, they can be kind of scary in a sense.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but when you think about Trae Young's skill set paired alongside a guy like AD and his skill set,
it fits.
They match. They can feed off each other pretty well. Lob thread, pick and pop. A little bit of dribble handoff. It could do wonders for the Washington Wizards offense. But now, since we're here, let's talk about the trade. So, what was the official trade? AD going over to Washington for Chris Middleton. I know it's a good amount of picks. Who else was involved in it? Marvin Bagley, AJ Johnson. I want to say, and I think it was one more player.
Yeah, I got it right here. So it was Dallas receives Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham,
him,
Marvin Bagley, 2 firsts, 3 seconds.
Okay, and the Wizards receive D'Lo, AD, and Jaden Hardy.
And Dante Exum.
No picks?
No picks from what I was reading. That is correct.
Okay, so initially, off the top of your head, what you think about the trade, bro?
I think it makes a ton of sense for Dallas. I think, you look at what Dallas has got. They got Cooper Flagg as their main. He's going to be the focal point of them moving forward. They've been able to bring in some nice young pieces to put around him to kind of see if they can fit the future, maybe role players down the line. Some of those guys, they were able to. I think they ended up. Did they flip Branham for Tyus? Somehow Tyus got rerouted to Dallas nonetheless, Tyus Jones. Maybe it's not Branham. Maybe I'm getting him confused with somebody else that got shipped out there. But nonetheless, I do think Dallas is starting to build a direction that they're going, right? Like by moving off of AD, moving off of D'Lo. I think they're starting to find themselves with a direction. They get multiple firsts. So they do get, a little bit of cash out on AD in a sense. On the Wizards side, man, I get it because they're going to have to spend their money like regardless next season, I guess. So maybe it's something of like just filling up your salary cap. But I don't know. Like, how did AD okay this trade?
He did it.
He did it. He didn't.
He did not know.
Interesting.
He did not know.
I don't. If I'm being completely honest, I don't like it for Washington. Just looking at it, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we going for the chip with AD and Trae Young? I do like some of the young guys they got there. I don't want to undersell it too much because, like you said, they do fit very well. They complement each other. Like their deficiencies, one complements the other's deficiencies, right? Like Trae Young will make AD's life tremendously easy from an offensive standpoint. AD's going to help Trae Young on the defensive side of things. So
Rocket.
Right, yeah, going off in the background. But I don't know. I if I'm being honest, I get it from like a scope of getting some veterans in house, letting your young guys learn from them. But overall, it just didn't make a ton of sense to me, man.
Honestly, bro, I disagree. I love it, bro. I love it for Washington. I think that when you look at you brought it up yourself. Specifically, like this was a team that had like a lot of money, I'm sure, going
Yeah,
into free agency. So why not use that money for guys like them? I mean, the only problem I would see with is if Trae Young and AD was kind of stunning the young guys' growth and their development, taking minutes away. But I'm pretty sure like a guy like Alex Sarr, I don't see Anthony Davis stealing minutes away from him at this point of his career. There's no way he should, at least. Trae Young should not be taking minutes away from Trey Johnson, Kalabali, um, Bub Carrington. Those guys should be getting rotational minutes. But nonetheless, when if you AD, this probably wasn't the most ideal team on to go to, but your mentality should be like, okay, I'm at the point of my career, man, where I can still be a valuable role player in a sense. The franchise player and all those days are just over at this point. You can still go out there and
well,
get,
it
get your
sounds crazy to me, man. I do feel you. Like there is a world where he can do that.
yeah.
It's
I
just like
mean,
why? I don't understand why you would like sign up to rot in Washington. I don't know, man.
him and Trae Young could be the start of something special here. Trae Young, AD can go in there, give you about 22, 12 rebounds. Just, I think at this point of his career, it makes sense. His body just don't hold up anymore, bro. Like AD just needs to take as less load as he possibly can, bro. And I think it'll do wonders. So I love the addition. Honestly, I think that a guy like Alex Sarr will learn a lot from AD. The way he's been balling, he can pick his brain and learn even more. All the young guards over there can learn something from Trey. And I could say majority of win because you really didn't give up much to get AD. Like Marvin Bagley, Chris Middleton, uh, AJ Johnson. You get like
I
that.
would have
That
to
ain't
see what
nothing.
the two firsts. I would have to see what year they are. I don't have the details.
Yeah, but I know also they still gonna have a lottery pick this year. So that's a good pickup too. So overall, I just love the trade for them. To
I
your
can
point with
you
Dallas,
make a good point for Washington
yeah,
and
Dallas, you said
veteran
it best.
mentorship. Like I get it. It just if I'm AD, like no way in hell. Like no,
I mean,
I'm not agreeing to that. That sounds like
but
shit
that's the thing
bullshit.
though.
He
At
can
this,
go somewhere and be on a contender and do the same thing, like be
but
like a role player type of
okay.
thing.
To your point though, is AD at the point of his career where he had that much leverage to say where he wants to go? I don't think so, man. I really don't. Like his value is that low. They sent him to Washington, bro. It kind of says a lot.
Maybe,
Now,
maybe.
Dallas, you said the best. That kind of signals that they just going to rebuild and let Cooper Flag do his thing down there. So obviously, I don't know what Kyrie
As he
gonna
should.
do. Maybe he stay, maybe he don't. But watch out for Kyrie ever. You never know where he's gonna go.
They're
So
building an all Duke team down there, so I don't know.
mhm.
He might, to your point, maybe he takes the AD role, stays around and mentors the young guys. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
but
be interesting nonetheless.
yeah. Pivoting over to the next trade, who we got, man? The next
I
major.
did want to say, real quick, Chris Middleton, he was part of that deal. I don't think he's been bought out yet, but
No,
I do think there's a rumor. There was rumors that he will be.
I don't see no. I don't. It makes no sense to buy him out, bro. Just
Why?
let 30 million 1 year. Just let it go, bro. You should not be buying it up.
What do you mean?
If I'm Dallas, just let him play it up. I don't see a reason to buy it out. I mean, for what?
I'm just thinking from their standpoint, if they're going in the younger direction,
He don't have to
not
play.
trying to win,
He don't
like
have to play though.
I guess I don't know. If I'm Chris Middleton, like buy me out. I don't want to be
No, if you
sitting here.
want,
Like I want to go.
if you
like,
want Chris Middleton to get bought out, bro, and go to the Sixers, just say that, bro. It's
absolutely,
okay.
that's
If he gets
absolutely what I want.
okay, if you want 2026 Chris Middleton by any means, go out there and get him. As a matter of
Absolutely,
fact,
I do.
give
I want
give
him to be a
him give
buyout
him the
market.
yeah, give him the mid-level player exception, whatever it is, 12 million. and add some more money to his bank account, and I'm pretty sure he'll help you guys down there in the
He
East.
can cover us until PG gets back. No, I'm being dead serious, but no,
No, yeah,
it is a rumor. It's just a rumor I saw floating around. I also saw DeMar DeRozan, potential
that
candidate
makes
as
no
well.
sense.
But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So what we got next, my guy?
You want to go to Utah?
I'm pretty sure that's the next major trade. Do we got like any more minor trades that caught your attention that you think worth
Let's look
discussing?
around.
Oh, I mean, we didn't talk about your Sixers sending Jared McCain to OKC. I mean, what's your thoughts? I mean, you probably talked about it since then, I'm sure, but
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I could say I'm over it, but it still makes zero sense to me why you would trade a 20-year-old, 21-year-old guard that was on his way to Rookie of the Year last year until he got injured. But at the end of the day, it sounds like Daryl Morey lost his faith in what Jared McCain could ultimately become. You have VJ, you have Maxey. It's a little bit of overlap when it comes to skill and in the future. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it clears the way, I guess, for Grimes to get extended at the end of this year. Cleared the way to bring Barlow back, but I didn't particularly like it. I don't like the idea of selling to save a billionaire owner a little bit of money, not a bunch of money, a little bit of money. So yeah, I would still like to have McCain on the team, but we move nonetheless. What'd you think about the Vooch trade?
I was just going to say that it's solid. I mean, you sent that Anthony Simons. I think that's the type of center they need. They need a stretch big. They didn't really have one, so
yeah,
that's all I can say. I mean, Vooch is not that good defensively, but he can rebound. He can space the floor, and so I think Anthony Simons going to Chicago pretty solid.
That's kind of how I felt about it. I just feel like Vooch, like it's a good swing in the dark, I guess, for Boston. Like it doesn't make them worse. Just don't know how much you're going to be able to play him come postseason. Because, like you said, he has defensive liability. He can help. I'm not going to sell him that short.
He can help for sure. But this just lets you know, like the Hornets have been going crazy. But this lets you know I have not been watching it. I did not know Mason Plumlee was still in the league, bro. Like they shipped him down to OKC for what's his name, Usman Dang or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the guy was still in the league, bro. But nonetheless, that was a trade that happened.
I like Simons. I like Simons in Chicago. I think him next to Josh Giddey. I think that could be fun.
Pure they got too many guards down there, bro. They got Jaden Ivey now.
Yeah, I did see that as well.
You got Rob Dillingham.
Yeah, they do got a ton of guards there. You ain't lying. I think Anthony Simons should be the one that sticks around, but it'll be interesting to see how his career plays out, man. He can score the rock, but
he can score.
He just obviously doesn't carry too much value in consideration of what he can produce. But just some other ones I'll run by you, bro. You had Ayo DeSumo go from Chicago to Minnesota. You mentioned Rob Dillingham. That was a big part of that trade. You had Jose Alvarado to New York. I thought that was a great move by the Knicks ultimately. I think he's going to fit in very well, annoyingly well in New York. Luke Kennard to the LA Lakers. They get some pure shooting there. We'll see how that works out. And then I did see like a 3-team trade that got like CP3 to Toronto. So see how he can help out that young group up there. But I guess that makes sense. Get a veteran in-house, a guy with some experience. But yeah, those are the only ones that caught my eye, man, before we get to the last big trade. I'm trying to think. Did I forget any?
Yeah. You got Eric Gordon. I did not know he still played for you guys, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, he doesn't really, but yeah, we traded him just once again to save money. I think we got like a conditional.
Yeah, so
or some shit.
Kobe White going down to Charlotte though.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
I think that's. Charlotte. I was like thinking, how much more of an upgrade is that than Colin Sexton? I don't think that much, but I feel you. I guess
he's better, but they are very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Like scoring punches, like when they go off, right? Like when they're hot, they're hot. It is interesting with Charlotte. It was just there was a lot of moving around, but I don't know, how many teams actually got better. Like there's only a few that actually got better towards this season, in a sense. I
Yeah,
see where some teams are headed, but
yeah. I mean, the Cavs. I don't know. We discussed it. They added Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis, and they sent Hunter out. So
yeah.
that's the only trade I
I like what
see.
the Cavs did. The Cavs got better. They're one of those teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Clippers set their future up better. I think they have a much brighter future with what they did at the deadline. Trying to
Yeah.
think. The Warriors, I think the Warriors, like KP healthy, Kuminga wasn't contributing anything. I would take Kristaps Porzingis over Buddy Hield. So I think the Warriors, you can say they got better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got us a second round pick out of the deal, so I consider it to be pretty solid.
I do like that Alvarado trade to New York, though. That defensive identity, that hustle. That crowd is gonna love him at the Garden, man.
Yeah, your boy Wabusele is going to Chicago,
He
man.
went to Chicago. Yeah. It's funny how his value has plummeted since last season, right? He had a pretty good season for us, but he's always been a defensive liability. It's going to be hard to play him come postseason, bro. He's just he's a
That's
bigger
fair.
dude. He
I
doesn't move
mean,
around too
I
well.
always I hope Rod Dillingham can get some burn down there in Chicago, man. I just think he was never given a fair opportunity in
Yeah.
Minnesota. So hopefully, man, they they give him some burn. It's gonna be hard though. They got a lot of guards down there, bro.
I saw some rumblings too that, Rob Dillingham's value has just plummeted to the point where he was, basically a throw-in on that deal. So like I think, basically what I was reading, it seems like our idea of Rob Dillingham may be far from what the idea of Rob Dillingham is around league offices, I guess is the best way to put it. But let's talk about this this last big trade, and I do want to kind of throw this one to you, my man, because you're down there, you're in that area. What's going on, man? What's going on with Memphis? They move Jaren Jackson Jr. They bring a bunch of pieces back in. They move a couple pieces off. Vince Williams Jr. John Conchar was thrown in there. You get a couple first round picks in return. What's going on in Memphis, man? Where is this team headed right now?
Man, I think they signaling towards a rebuild, bro. I mean, this was a team about 4 or 5 years ago. I wouldn't say that they was like a team to be reckoned with, like title contention, but they was definitely a team you can see that had potential to be in the mix. And so I'm saying that, bro. Just like when the situation with Ja happened, the team just been on the downhill ever since, bro. Like when you go back to the gun situation, to them making a statement saying that under any circumstance they would not be re-signing Dylan Brooks, to eventually trading away Desmond Bain. Then you let a lot of key role players go over time as well. D'Anthony Melton, he was huge for them. Tyus Jones, Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson, all those guys kind of pivoted away from the team as time progressed.
Yeah.
And so, Zaire Williams too, he ended up leaving. So when you look at the team now, bro, it's only like Ja and Brandon Clark that's down there from the original core. And it's like now that they trade away Jaren, I think that just signals like a rebuild. I don't know what happened, what went left with them. Taylor Jenkins is out of there, their head coach.
Yeah.
So when you just look up the makeup of everything, it's just like it's a rebuild is just happening. It's just a matter of time of like the perfect situation for Ja to land to. It's just a matter of time. So I'm saying that I think it's just time for a rebuild, bro, because they had a lot of potential. I say a lot of potential, but the situation with Ja, when that happened, things just went left, and it just ain't been right ever since. So, that's kind of what I say on that.
No, I agree with you, man. I think, just from listening to you right there, the one thing that stuck out to me, and you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like everything changed once Dylan Brooks moved on. He does, hate him or love him, he does bring a certain culture, a certain winning mentality. He's willing to be the villain to take pressure off of other guys. There is something that Dylan Brooks brings to a team that we can obviously see now that he's in Phoenix. We saw it in Houston last year, how he was able to help them as well. And maybe, just maybe, he was a bigger piece to that Memphis team than what any of us thought, and obviously what Memphis thought. They treated him as if he was a nuisance, where Phoenix is just embracing his personality and letting him be a leader on the team and letting him, show his stuff out there with Devin Booker. So that stuck out to me. Obviously, you moved off Desmond Bane this past offseason, sent him to Orlando. And that kind of signaled the first part of moving on from that true core, which I looked at the core as Morant, like you mentioned, Ja, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. Those are your three. That's going to be your big three, your core moving forward. Like I said, maybe I should have included Dylan Brooks in that core four, but the signs pointed towards a rebuild at that point. And then they do finally move off of Jaren Jackson Jr. You get some draft compensation in return. We'll talk in a second about Utah's side of things. Obviously, they bring him back. They obviously wanted to go all in on Jaren Jackson Jr. here. But it is interesting to see Ja not moved at the trade deadline, given that they did move Jaren Jackson Jr. It just makes me question what Ja's value is at right now, because I think if they could have, they would have moved off of him at the trade deadline at this point and just completely started the rebuild. But maybe they just, weren't getting anything close to an offer of what they needed.
Yeah, I think since trading Bane and Jaren, you now have like 6 first-round picks. So if you can trade Ja for maybe like 2-3, that'll be cool. Yeah. But nonetheless, it's just all about rebuilding for the future at this point. So, yeah.
Do you think that is there any chance Memphis could try to pair Giannis with Ja?
I think it'll be more so Ja going to Milwaukee though. So, okay. Yeah, I think it's a package out there for that to happen. I can see that.
6 first. Yeah, it's interesting. Who knows? Giannis may not sign off on that. Whatever. I don't know. It was just something that came to mind, but we'll see where Memphis goes. I do agree with you. I think they're obviously going into a rebuild. What did you think on Utah's side of things? Getting Jaren Jackson Jr. They got Vince Williams Jr. as well, Jacques Landale, John Conchar. So they got some role players mixed in there as well. Had to give up a couple firsts, Walter Clayton Jr., which Memphis gets him. What are your thoughts on Utah's side of things? How do you feel about JJ, Triple J?
Sucks to see my guy Walter Clayton leave. Honestly, I was rooting for him down there, but honestly, I think it's a good pickup for them. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his contract, but when you look at the pairing of him and Laurie, plus Ace Bailey, Isaiah Collier, Walker Kessler, specifically the front court, like the 3 guys I mentioned, Laura, JJ, and Kessler, that's a pretty huge lineup. And I think that they can feed off each other pretty good. You still got Nurkic over there. And so, honestly, I love it from a perspective of it's a new chapter in Jaren's career. Maybe it motivates him to be more locked in a sense. So I think it's a good trade for the Utah Jazz, honestly. And if you the Memphis Grizzlies are just getting his contract off and then getting some solid young players back with draft picks, it's a win for both sides, I feel like.
Yeah, I am just interested once again to see where Utah is going with this. You mentioned it. I mean, they have a nice core. If they want to try to compete, they could give it a shot. I truly think that. You have Jaren Jackson Jr., you have Lauri Markkanen, like you said. I always get them confused. Is it Keyshawn George or is it Keontae?
Keontae. I
Keyshawn's out. Keyshawn's in Washington.
Yeah.
Keontae's a dog, though. Yeah. Like, he is. Yeah, he's going to be a star. But I don't know. I guess it is like if they're willing to go out and try to compete, it makes sense. It's just the other night, I talked to you about this before we started the show. They were, I don't know if they were up in the game, but Laurie.
Yeah, they was up.
they were having a good game, and basically Laurie and who else gets benched for the entire
Jaren and Nurkic.
and Nurkic, which obviously that shouldn't happen, right? With their rotation, like those guys should see minutes in the fourth. Are they tanking? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure, they definitely are.
I guess for this season, and then maybe you regroup, you bring Jaren Jackson Jr. back with that group, and you come back strong next year, and that's when you really give it a go. I don't know.
There's different ways you can look at it, but I think that them trading for Jaren is a good pickup. Just like every year, you're not looking to be trash in a sense. So they have enough young players over there. Like I'm pretty sure they're gonna have like a lottery pick this summer. So just draft the right player and then just try to slowly compete. Make goals to be in the play-in, then playoffs, and then just go from there.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I guess what I'm trying to say is with Jaren Jackson Jr. in that lineup, I guess they're going to have to be sitting these guys for fourth quarters down the stretch in order to not win games. Because I think they'll win games if these guys play. Like they won't be in I don't know. It is the West. Let me not get ahead of myself. They're 16-37, but I don't know. It's interesting. I do think it's a good fit nonetheless. I'm not necessarily complaining about it from that stance. It's more just like I thought they would just try to lose as much as possible, which maybe they still do, but we'll see, man. Interesting trade deadline. What would you grade this trade deadline overall? Excitement level, interest, like what would you grade it?
I get a solid B plus. I mean, seeing my Warriors go out there and make a move, that was nice to see. So I say a solid B plus for sure. What about you?
I think B minus, C plus. Just because Giannis wasn't moved, like like the biggest names weren't moved. Is that?
I'm gonna be honest though, Milwaukee was not playing fair though. Cause I was saying like I bet like the Milwaukee Bucks GM was pulling the same stuff the Portland Trailblazers GM was doing a few years ago. I guarantee you he was probably asking for like Anthony Edwards in the trade, bro. Because you remember when Damian Lillard was trying to go to Miami, bro.
You weren't lying.
He was the GM was trying to get Bam in the package or something like that, and they was not trying to do that.
Defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah, like
it's interesting. Like if Ja got moved, it probably could get into A territory because it would be interesting.
I'd say this though, it was definitely free trades that caught me off guard. Like seeing James Harden get traded to Cleveland, I did not see that coming. Yeah, Anthony Davis getting traded, definitely didn't see that coming. And then Jaren getting traded, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Kristaps too. I didn't see us getting him by any means.
James Harden, that trade is the one that I guess I'm the most excited about. I don't know. I shouldn't. Excited's not the right word because it's in the Eastern Conference. So.
I mean, you're a huge fan, though. It's okay.
I am a fan of James Harden. I think this is a good chance for him to compete, man.
That's fair.
As I build my my wardrobe of hate of Daryl Morey.
Okay.
James Harden sticks in my mind. Never trust Daryl Morey. He's a liar. That's
I remember that he was in China when he said that.
Yeah, partying in China.
That was funny, but overall, bro, before we get up out of here, who would you say is the biggest winner of the trade deadline? And after that, who you think the biggest loser of the trade deadline?
So I'll definitely go with I said definitely too quick. I'm going to go with the Cavs. I'm going to go with James Harden. I like that addition. I like adding Dennis Schroeder, who has been playing really well this season. You'll get a little bit more consistency from him and Keon Ellis than I think you would get ultimately from DeAndre Hunter. And I think they have pieces that they can replace DeAndre Hunter with, whereas that is just going to bolster their guard lineup. But the James Harden trade and his impact on those bigs is the biggest thing to me. The other team that was in mind was the Clippers, though. I think that was a really good reset of resources, in my opinion.
Yep. But I'm about to go with the Clippers on that. I think that them getting those two young guys with draft capital is setting them up to be pretty successful within the next 3 to 4 years. Not saying that gets them over the hump, but it definitely helps them more than it hurts them. Obviously, you hate to see Zubac go, but at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to do what's best for the team overall. So
Yeah.
I think that they hit a hard run by getting those two guys. So yeah,
I think they sold high with Zubac. I don't know that you're gonna get much more for him, at any
yeah.
point in the
The
future.
the Pacers were trying to get him, bro. They have been pursuing him for like the past couple of weeks. They said so.
Yeah.
They finally got their center that they have been desperately looking for. So
It'll be interesting. That has to work out, right? It has to
mhm.
work out for them to
Yeah.
compete in the future in the East. So it'll be interesting to see that play out. But biggest loser of the deadline. This one's a little bit harder.
Is it really though?
Well, you go first. Who's your biggest loser?
My biggest loser of the trade deadline, bro. I'm gonna have to say, it's two teams I'm thinking in my head. I'm gonna have to go Milwaukee.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you should have so high on Giannis while you can. Not saying his value going to drop in a sense, but I mean when you look at the additions that they added to the team, they brought in I think what Nick Richards and some dude named Nigel Hayes Davis. I think he a rookie,
Yeah.
and then you just signed Cam Thomas. Respectfully, that's still not enough to kind of compete for a title. So
Yeah.
why not just go out there and accept the best package now, in a sense, and just kind of like knowing where your team mentality is going into the offseason. Like we rebuilding now, just trying to do some more scouting. And yeah, I just think them not trading him now was kind of a setback in a sense. Like I think you could have sold him high right now. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to say the biggest losers were the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah. I think that is that's a really good one. That's a good one. I think I don't know. Grizzlies come to mind, but is that really a loss on Jaren Jackson? I think it more or less the Grizzlies come to mind just because it is a signal of change. Like that core is done. And I don't think we can look for Memphis to be competing anytime soon. And it might be the first time that we can say that for sure in the last 3 to 4 years that Memphis really has no shot in the Western Conference. But at the same time, you get 3 firsts for Jaren Jackson Jr. along with Walter Clayton Jr. So
Mhm.
I kind of agree with you on Milwaukee. I think at the end of the day, you go into this offseason, Giannis. I feel like as you get further into his contract, it just means more control for Giannis in this situation. So to your point, they might not be able to get as much as they would have gotten at the trade deadline for Giannis.
Okay.
But yeah, Grizzlies and Bucks, two different reasons, I guess you could say, but those are the two teams that come to mind for me. But I'll go ahead and I'll agree with you. I think the Bucks are the biggest losers here.
Okay, that's what's up, bro. Anything else before we get up out of here, man? Trade
No,
that discussion.
just tap in with us later this week. We'll be back to get a show in ahead of the All-Star weekend, which
Yep.
should be fun. I did see Sengun is replacing SGA on the
Mhm.
world team.
I
So
seen I seen Dame Dollar go be in the 3-point contest.
yeah, Tyrese
Yep.
Maxey too.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Hey, shout out Joel Embiid, bro. That brother has been moving different this year, bro.
Been balling.
Shout out Joel.
You see the stinky to Dylan Brooks?
I didn't see that.
He hit the Dylan Brooks decided he wanted to guard Joel Embiid in the second half. Kudos to him for taking the challenge, but Joel Embiid hit like a step back midi in his jaws, and then walked down the court and just went like this, stinky. He was in his bag though, but Dylan Brooks and D Book, they was getting on my nerves the other night. I wasn't fucking with them, but good W Sixers nonetheless. We got the Trailblazers tonight, but I'm excited, man. You could tell we went over on a time of show that we were supposed to go. I'm talking too much. You take it from here, man. I'm too excited for the NBA season.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun for sure. But now make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Anybody watching on X side over to the YouTube channel to the Galaxy Pod. Turn that notification buttons on so you won't miss any more of this great content moving forward. And like my guy Scotty said, we will indeed be back again this week. So
Yes,
just turn
sir.
our notice on so you won't miss any of this content. And with that being said, we out. Peace.
Peace, everybody. Appreciate y'all.